Hello and welcome to the Changing Your Emotions Fast workshop. As you can see, my name there is Stuart Nunn, and I have a company called nunsnlp.com. Feel free to jump in and have a look. But this is really for the superheroes sessions. There's been quite a few of them. I think there's 25 in all. I've done a couple already, and I believe there's a few more coming up still. Most important, it's all free to yourself, and the work that Superheroes does for children and helping them reach this type of therapy on an affordable basis is what they're there for. So whether it's subsidizing or helping them, giving the free sessions like we are here now, is so important. So if you feel that you would like to donate, I'm sure we can sort that out for you. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of this workshop. There's some great stuff coming up. If you haven't already, and I'll probably remind you a bit later on, you will need a pen and paper to carry on. So let's get started. Okay, so this workshop. So by the end of this workshop, this short training, I will want you to have a newfound sense of confidence. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing and we feel uncertain. So by the end of this workshop, you will be confident in knowing what you know and you can use it. Clarity, yeah. So once there was a bit of confusion, you're going, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to do this. It's all very linked, but certainly going to give you some clarity. And the most important part is inner strength, and inner strength to deal with your external frustrations. Boy, we need that. We have so many things coming at us, and if we don't have that inner strength and ways to build it even stronger, we can flounder. So there will be some ways that we can do that as we go through. What I need from you, and I think I've already said it, is yes, a pen and paper. We are going to do a bit of writing. Oh, you are. I've already done this. But I would like you to get a pen and paper. And also, on top of that, is an open mind. We are going to be doing some stuff that you're going, yeah, I know that. Done that before. But there's also going to be some stuff that you probably won't have done, and definitely out from the norm. But I want you to keep an open mind on this, and even to the stuff that you think you've done before, is actually come at it with a fresh pair of eyes, a different perspective, because it's going to feel very different. That's me. I left my 9-to-5 job way back in 2010, and I went to work with a company called NLP for Kids, and it was great. I still enjoy it, but it was a real moment for me, leaving that comfort of that job to go and help children and parents with whatever issues they have, and it's been a real enriching experience for me. But that's enough about me. This is all about you and how you can change your emotions fast. I think, if I remember rightly, do apologise. I haven't changed the agenda on this one, so I'm going to just quickly skip past it because that was something else I did before. There we go. Right, so there we go. Changing your emotions fast. Why? Why bother? It might be because we're upset. We do get upset sometimes. It might be because we're feeling angry, feeling that tension inside our bodies, and we just want to let it out somewhere. Or we might be feeling resentment, looking around at other people going, oh, why have they got that? Why are they so good at that? Why aren't I? Well, I feel sad. And it's okay to feel sad. All of these things, perfectly okay to feel. Demotivated. Why? Why bother? Why should I just bother doing this? I've done it so many times before. No, I'm fed up. And you feel helpless. Maybe a little bit guilty. Oh, I should do it. Really should. And you feel low. So, but all of these emotions we could feel all the way through the day. But why do we want to change our emotions? And why do we want to do it fast? Because we want to move away from those. So you want to go from that sad sort of feeling and then take it over to feeling happy, feeling much better about yourself. And sometimes you want it to happen instantly. And it can. And I'm going to show you a few things on how you can do that and make it instant. But know that that's why we have these emotions and why we want to change them. And as humans, we want to feel better. We don't want the sadness, we want the happiness. Another important thing to say about happiness, happiness doesn't come from outside. Happiness is a feeling inside you. And what's great is that you can create that happiness first. And in doing so, you look at the world differently through happy goggles. And it's great. I love it. This is something I came across the other day. A wheel of emotions. It's hopefully I say his name correctly. Robert Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions. Now he did this way back in 1980, and through his course of his experiments, or whatever you want to call them, his research, he came up 8 core emotions, and they were joy, trust, fear, surprise, sadness, disgust, anger, and anticipation. I thought, that's interesting. Wonder what the opposite of sadness would be. And he decided it was joy. Opposite of surprise is anticipation. And from that, he created this wheel of emotion. And as you can see, there's a lot more emotions on there than we've just covered. And that's telling in itself. There are so many emotions that we can feel. Some we feel all at the same time, like I like that one at the top there. If you mix joy and trust, you get love. And the other thing he added into this wheel was the intensity. So the closer you got to the middle, the more intense that feeling and that emotion is or was. So amazement is a lot stronger than distraction. Rage is more intense than annoyance, and he used colours to illustrate that. But the reason why I've put that up here is really just to show you the depth and breadth of all the emotions that we could feel. And it also shows that what we can change them to. You know, sometimes you go, well, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to feel about this. And this is a great one to go, oh, yeah, I want to feel joyful about this. I want to have a bit of anticipation about this. So we're straight into the exercise number 1, which is letting go of the past. Now you will need your pen and paper, as it says there. And I'm going to ask you to do a bit of writing. So the first thing is, I want you to write down anything about yourself that you believe is holding you back in your life. Now, whether that's good or bad, and you might at this point feel like you want to write stuff about that is making you feel bad, but it doesn't matter what it is. Get it out, get it on a bit of paper, and write that down. And then I'm going to ask you to do something with that bit of paper in a short while. But I'm going to give you a few moments just to write anything that you feel is holding you back as a parent, as a person, as a mum, as a dad, anything that feels that is holding you back from being where you want to be. Okay, now I want you to do something radical. I want you to get that bit of paper and I want you to rip it up into the smallest of pieces that you possibly can. And as you rip it all up, I want you to say to yourself, I find peace when I let go. I find peace when I let go. Rip them into the smallest shreds. So what I have said before, and you can do this if you want to do this later and you're feeling very adventurous, a powerful way of doing this is actually taking it outside, having a lighter or a match and a fireproof bowl or thing, and set light to that bit of paper. And as you set light to it and it goes up in flames, I find peace when I let go. Now I'll give you a little moment just to go through that. Excellent. Right. I hope you did that. It's the first start. It's the first part of this whole workshop and bit of training. If you haven't done it now, please do it later. Certainly before you go to bed. It makes all the difference. So what we're going to go on to next is feeling the future now. Cool. Right, I hope you got something out of that. I did that probably a couple of months ago, and it was an extraordinary feeling. It certainly I felt things letting go that I feel like I probably was holding on to for no reason at all. And that's the kind of thing you want to sort of get to. But don't worry if you haven't. I would just want you to go through that exercise and do that action of ripping it up. Okay, so on to the next exercise. Now we've sort of dealt with the past now. We're now going to the future, and we want those future feelings. This is what we want to feel. Remember that bridge of going from the sad to the happy face. I want you to feel those feelings now, and that's what we're going to take you on. So next step, still need your bit of paper. I would like you to list 3 things that make you stand out as a parent. So an example for me would be listening. So is certainly a certain amount of times I really, really need to listen. So apart from when I'm having a therapy session with a child or family or parent, it is so key to listen to what's going on, and particularly listening to your child. You need to stop and listen, and then particularly without jumping in again. Oh no, don't. So that was an example from mine. Empathy is understanding a client's character's perception. So I would say empathy in a family situation is, yes, I understand. Keep listening though. Don't jump in with solutions. Just get to a point where you feel You know where they're coming from. And patience. Oh boy, don't we parents need patience? And you need to keep on doing it. So repeat that patience, because you're going to hear the same thing over and over again. You might hear yourself saying the same thing over and over again. And it might be that you think, right, I'm fed up with saying it that way. I'm going to do it this way. And you might do something more physical, just doing, helping them along with what you want them to do. So yeah, those are the three things. I would like you to come up with your own. So it's over to you. So three things. Oh, yeah, three things that make you stand out as a parent. I'll just give you 30 more seconds. Right, okay, so I hope you found those three things that you feel make you stand out as a parent. Next question. What three skills that you've developed that allow you to be successful in parenting? There are times when you look back, and it doesn't matter how old your child is, it could be a particular day, and you're going, yes, that so worked for me. Or it might not be just the parenting, it might be something for you, something personal. Again, something that really works, and you've learned it works for you. So, for example, mine was routine. A chaotic household doesn't seem to work, especially when you're trying to get them off to school. And it's important for your child, your children, yourself to know what's coming up. Encourage them. Wow. Okay. So it's great that they do things really well. But as humans, we kind of need to push ourselves, get out of that thing called the comfort zone. So helping them push them a little bit further is a great skill that you can have, and doing it in a sort of a kind and sort of encouraging way, a comforting way. It's just the best gift you can give. And positive, totally, in being positive in your attitude and positive in your action. um, I'm sure you've heard it a lot. It's a try to be as positive as possible with your child. Look for the good things that they are doing, and when they're not doing something you want them to do, kind of steer them, help them to find out what that thing is now. And they're going to learn so much more if you're going to be positive in doing it, and particularly with your action. So over to you again. So yeah, what three skills have you developed that allow you to be successful in parenting? Enjoy, close your eyes, have a little bit of a think. It's really worthwhile finding out those moments. I'll just give you 30 more seconds. Just, come up with the first things that come to mind. It's a great way just to empty the brain. Okay, next question. Now, these are my fun ones. What are two things that you do in your family that makes you the happiest and brings you fulfillment? So, it could be something you have done or you do as a routine. And for me, Sunday lunch. So what's so important for me, I grew up when we used to go around my nan's house, and my uncles and aunts and all the cousins used to get round this, seemed to be the smallest table in the world. And when we were kids, we had the kids' table, and it was a chance for us all together. So now, as a parent, something I have continued. Haven't got the big family, but I don't mind. It's just something we can come together, have a bit of a laugh, play around with Alexa. Didn't have that back when I was younger, and doing silly things with it, and listening to music. It is such a great way to share, and it's a time to sort of relax and be a part of your family. So that was one of mine. And being silly, I am not Mr. Serious. And if there's something I can do that will make someone laugh, I will go and do it. So you may have similar kind of things, and if they are, great. It's a great place to be. But do come up with some other things if you've got them. Don't say it's just two. If there's others, have a little moment, have a think about what two things that you do that bring you the happiness, makes you happy and brings you fulfillment as a parent, as a person. Yeah, just fun. Go for it. Okay, right. Hopefully you've found those two things for you. By now, I suspect you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Lots of things that you can remember, and that's where kind of what are your stories? We love to tell ourselves stories, and it's not the once upon a time kind of stories. These are the stories that you look back and went, oh yeah, yeah, that's when it started. And it might be stories that you tell yourself every day. Oh yeah, no, I'm super organized. That's the type of person I am. Or oh no, can never get myself sorted. And they are just stories you're telling yourself. Now, a story that I had from when I was a new dad, and my son, who's now 16, he would have been probably about 2 or 3 years old. And I was working in London, working really long hours. I was catching like the 6:30 train in the morning, wasn't getting home till probably about 7 o'clock. Now, as you imagine, son was tiny, so he didn't he went to bed fairly early, and he certainly went to bed before I got home, and invariably I was up an atom and gone in the morning. And there was one particular day, I think it's probably the weekend, and that he said to my wife, saying, "Is Daddy sleeping here tonight?" And that really cut me. Thinking about it now, it was like, what a hammer to throw at me. And it was at that moment that I think on that Monday I went to work and I found out as much as I possibly can to get some flexible working, and it worked. I still left early, but I was home by about 5, 6 o'clock. Still a long day, but it was enough to see my son, read him a story, and make sure he had a good night. I knew I was there. So you might have those sort of stories in your past. You might have those stories really current, but I want you to just sort of have a little think about what stories have transformed you. You were one type of parent, and now you're this type of parent, or I wasn't a parent and now I am. And those kind of stories, they kind of shape us, but they're not the end of the story, and we can keep going. So have a little moment, a minute or so, and think about your stories. Righty ho. So that's the end of that exercise. I hope you got something out of that. And it's particularly looking back on what you've done, and picking out the good points, picking out all the bits that made you feel good as being a parent. And it is so important to have that written down. Look at it, and just by the act of writing these things down, externalizes it, and you can see it's real. It's not something in your head that you think, oh, didn't I? And that's the whole sort of point of writing a journal. Sometimes it's a great way to help you formulate your thoughts. And talking about thoughts, there's no intention of a segue there. We have the NLP communications model. And why I've included this into this presentation and workshop, I use this a lot because it's kind of the backbone of NLP. Now, if you haven't heard of the word NLP, on what's it all stand for, so NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. Neuro is also the brain. Linguistic is how we say things to other people, say things to ourselves. And if you're like me, you talk to yourself, maybe a lot, maybe a bit. And it's that voice that you hear is either for you or sometimes it's against you. And you get a chance to sort of control that. And P is for programming. And that's that bringing up. So like a computer, if you press a few buttons, it does something. And we as humans, we have our own buttons, programs that we run. And the whole part of NLP is actually finding out what programs we use when things are going well. And how can we use that going well program somewhere else? Does it work there? Oh, yes, it does. Okay, we can use that. So that's a very, very small snapshot of what NLP is. But in sort of the techniques, this came out, which was the communication model. And it starts off with life. Life is all around us. It's, we can't avoid it. You look out, you hear things, you can touch things, you can taste things, and you can smell things. That's our five senses taking on all of this information from the the blank wall that you might be looking at. You might have a book on your shelf, to if you've got a window open, you can hear the sounds of the outside. It's all life. And scientists say there's like between 1 million and 1 billion bits of information coming at us all at the same time, and there really is nothing you can do about it. And there's absolutely no way, no matter how sophisticated our brain is, there is no way that we can take on 1 billion bits of information. So after lots of sort of working out, it was found that we can roughly take on between 5 and 9 bits of information. Let's go in the middle, so 7. So we can only take on 7 bits of information, and they could be big bits of information. We've clumped it all together, or it could be tiny bits of information. But if we can only take on that 7, and there's potentially 1 billion bits of information out there, what has happened to the 999,999,993 bits? Have they disappeared? What's happened to them? We can't take them in. So we have to filter them out. And that's what you've left with there, those 3 words right in the middle of the head there: delete, distort, and generalize. That's how we can sift out all the stuff that we don't want, or all the stuff we want to ignore. It's, we choose it. And the first one is delete, and that's a fairly obvious one. For instance, yesterday I was looking for a plastic jug in the dishwasher. I opened up the dishwasher, I looked in the dishwasher, it was not in the dishwasher. I looked in the cupboard, it wasn't in the cupboard. I looked on the sink area, it wasn't there. Okay, if it's not there, it's not there. It's got to be in the dishwasher. I opened up the dishwasher. I still couldn't see it. And just out the corner of my eye, I realised the jug was in the dishwasher, and it was right there. Because normally when I put things in there, I tend to put the jug right at the back. So my brain was going, okay, that's the only thing I need to focus on. Everything else I forget. So I deleted it, even though it was right there. It literally was just there. So that's how we delete stuff. And, a bit of a silly exercise, but does prove a great point. If you look around where you are now and start looking for all the stuff that's red in colour. It might be a book, it might be a pen, it might be a bit of your laptop or computer or iPad, but have a good look around your space and say out loud if it's okay, you're not in company and they want to go, what are you doing? Have a shout out those red things to yourself. Cool. Right, now all those red things, I would like you now to close your eyes and remember them all. So say them out loud with your eyes closed. No cheating, because I can't see you, so I'm going to trust you. Say them all until you get to the very end that you can think of, but keep your eyes closed for me. Keeping your eyes closed, tell me about all the green things that you saw. What? He didn't ask me to look for green things. How am I supposed to remember the green things? Okay, open your eyes. Have a good look round. Can you see green things now? And there probably are. There may be lots, there may be a few. You may have remembered some. But I suspect there are probably more greens than you remembered. And that's because I asked you to focus on the red stuff, not the green. Now, if you take on that responsibility, and perhaps as a kind of a metaphor, all the red stuff is stuff that makes you feel a bit bad, get all those negative emotions that we had right at the beginning, and all the green things are all the positive emotions, the things that make us happier, and those questions that I went through earlier to help you remember them. You generally forget them, and you just concentrate on all the stuff that makes you feel rubbish. And what makes you feel rubbish is going to make you feel rubbish, and you're going to feel demotivated. So let's delete. Distort. Distort is a best way of sort of an example for that is, if you like reading a book, even if it's a newspaper or something on your phone, but you tend to take those words and create either a picture or a little movie in your mind. If it's a book, you might visualize that character, what they're wearing, what hair color they have, what they're doing. But really, they are just words on a page, and you've distorted it. You've changed their appearance to make it easier for you to understand. And we do this a lot. We take things, for example, if there's something coming up that you're not quite confident about, you're more likely to make that problem or that event into a problem. You're making it bigger and bigger, and you start getting worried, you get a bit anxious, and it just is so much bigger than it is. On the other side is there might be something coming up, your birthday, and you're really looking forward to it, having a nice drink with some friends, and you big it up. It gives you those those really, really happy feelings. Again, going back to that exercise we were doing earlier, and generalize. And that comes back to a bit of self-talk. You're saying, oh, I always do it this way. Oh, I can never do this right. Perhaps you might be helping your child with their homework, and you sort of get yourself talking yourself, oh, I'm no good at maths. I was never good at maths before, so I'm going to be no good at maths now. And you can challenge that. Is that really true? Are you always never good at maths, or whatever you've chosen? And I would say it's probably not always. It's sometimes, and if it's not sometimes, it's maybe on the odd occasion. So where does all that bring us? So you've got these 7 things that we've filtered out from the whole billion things, and those 7 things are your thoughts. So you're on the left hand side of that diagram, you've got my thinking. So you've got your thoughts, which lead directly to your feelings and the way that your body is, it reacts to those feelings. So for instance, if you're feeling a bit sad, a bit, you're going to sag. Your shoulders will come forward, your head will come down, your voice will slow. Well, I'll do it later, I suppose. And it's all linked. So whatever you want to feel happy, you're going to start sitting up. You're going to have those different thoughts. You're going to be focusing on the things that make you feel better, and those thoughts will change. And all of those things will change your behavior, and you'll get a result. you always get a result. Sometimes it's not the result you want, and then depending on how you've used those filters, you won't care that you got that result, or it'll be the worst result in the world. So perhaps if you're having an argument with your child, trying to get him to do something, you're going to start seeing all the things that they're not doing right. Similarly, they'll probably think that as well. But let's deal with you. So you're thinking they're doing all, remembering all those times that they didn't do things right. You've deleted all the good things. You've distorted their maybe small thing and made it huge. And they always do this. And that's changed your thoughts, and it's changed your feelings, and it's changed your body. You might be more tense, and your behavior, the result you get, is certainly not the thing that you want. But if you changed your outlook on that one, the way you thought about it, you went, all right, okay, it's just a blip. Okay, because you did this before, which is really good. Well done. And it lightens everything. So your thoughts are lighter, you feel a bit better, your feelings take on that, and your body, you're not as tense, you're relaxed. And you can imagine if you're feeling relaxed, your child is not going to feel so tense. They're going to be comforted that it's not the end of the world. So that's the communication model. And it's worth knowing, when you go through your day, you're taking on all of these things, you're deleting, distorting, and generalizing all the time. And you'll see later there's a reason for that. So here's another exercise. Not writing down this one. This is actually a real physical thing. And this is finding out your personal energy. And I really, really like this one. I've been doing it a lot recently just to see how it works on a consistent basis. And it's really, really good. So I would like you to do the following. Now, we'll probably do this a couple of times so we really get to know what we're doing. So I want you to get your palms and rub them together vigorously for 30 seconds. You can count in your head just the numbers. It's real good. So really do your fingers fast. Keep it going. Brilliant. So I want you to hold your palms just about an inch away, so a couple of centimeters apart, and facing each other. So if you can see my hands now, you can see them there. And I want you to focus on the space in between your palms. Relax your shoulders, and you will start to feel a little tingling sensation in the palms. And you'll find that the closer you bring your palms together, they'll be like magnets, and you can feel them repelling each other. You can feel that energy that you have just created. I've got like a glorious warmth I can feel as they get closer, and then really hotness in the middle of my palms. Wow. Okay. So you'll feel it increase as the palms together. Now, as you're imagining this power, I want you to think about all of those questions that we were going through earlier. What skills have you got? What makes you happy? And focus all of those positive feelings between your palms. And when you feel something settling inside you, or you get a little internal signal that you're done, you can focus your attention on the outside. Cool. Okay, so like I said, we're going to go through that whole exercise again. I'm not going to do so much talking, so you can do more of the feeling. So we start off again, rubbing the palms of your hands for 30 seconds. And you'll feel that this time when you do it, that the feeling will be even stronger. And at that last point, when you feel that you're done, move your gaze to the rest of the room. So nice one to sort of use whenever you want. So get that personal energy, feel that buzz, and you'll always come back to those happy feelings that you always have inside you. So habits. I think I almost touched on it earlier. Everything is a habit. So everything that we do is a habit, and including your emotions. So from getting up in the morning and doing that routine, you know, you might stand in a particular way in front of the sink, brushing your teeth, or you might do something in a particular order. You know, you brush your hair before you do your teeth or afterwards. You know, those little things are all habits, and your emotions are also habitualized. I think that's the word. But they are a habit. So perhaps, you know, when you're doing something, you always have that feeling, that emotion, or it might be a particular, you know, someone you see outside at work. You always have that kind of sensation, and that is a habit. And it's good to know that we have these habits. We're not born with habits. We actually have created all the habits that we use, which is a really positive thing, because it means that we can change those habits. And I'm going to show you through a short exercise. I can do a longer training on it, but this is really sort of just to keep it short and neat for this session today. So what is a habit? Kind of alluded to it earlier. It's an acquired behavior pattern regularly followed until it becomes almost involuntary. So as you can see the switch on the right hand side there, it's up to autopilot. You don't know that you're doing it, and it's only when you sort of have a think about, why am I doing that? That's a habit I've got. Let me a good one. It might be a good one. There might be nothing wrong with it. And going back to sort of the communication model and that bits of information, it's so important that we do have a habit, because if we have to consider every single time why we're doing it, so, you know, getting up in the morning, brushing your teeth, okay, so now I have to brush my teeth because I have just done this. You know, I have brushed my hair. Now it's time to brush my teeth. We don't need that in the mornings. We need to get up and done. So it can be good, and variably, the most of the time it is. But we do have habits that are not positive for us. And those are the ones that we can change, especially when we become a bit more conscious of them. And I put habit urges up there, particularly related to the habit voice. Now, when you have a habit, it might be, what's that one? Biting your nails. I bite my nails. I'm not ashamed of it. But you kind of get that thing in your head. You're going, ooh, aye, that's a bit long, that one, isn't it? I could probably just bite that down a little bit. Or it might be that you're feeling a bit nervous about something, and your immediate habit is to bite your nails. But you will always have that habit voice inside you. And I will help you decide what you can do with that habit voice. But for now, it is important for you to be aware that you do have that voice inside your head. And it's generally always before you do a habit. And these habit urges, you've got a choice. You can ignore it or you can dismiss it. Unfortunately, if you ignore a habit urge and the habit voice, it gets louder and louder and louder until it really wants you to do it. And not just do it now. And it's really hard to ignore that. And especially when you do try to ignore it, nope, go away, can't think of it, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. Willpower. If everyone had the power, willpower to change all their habits and it'd be easy, then we would have done it by now. Willpower is not enough. It's sometimes a good start, but it's not enough. So let's say we ignore that habit voice. What if we just dismiss it? It's dismissing is part of, you acknowledge it's there. Again, yeah, and what? You dismiss it, you're lessening its power on you. Ignoring, it reinforces it. Dismissing, you don't have to. So yeah, okay, fine. And it's what you do after that. So here's an easy way to break any bad habit without using willpower. When you feel that urge coming up on you, when you hear that habit voice, and I want you to do exactly what I said before, was just dismiss it. Going, yeah, nah, it's not me. I'm not my habits. And then move your attention. Now, moving your attention could be to something completely different. So if it is perhaps biting your nails, and you get that urge to bite your nails, and you get that voice talking to you going, yeah, you can do it, look, there's still a bit of white left, I'm really gonna get that nail, I'm gonna bite it all the way down. If you go, say, no, I'm not gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it, you can't make me, you can't make me, it's gonna get louder. There we go. Yeah, it is, isn't it? That is white. So you know what? And then just look somewhere else. Anything, do anything else apart from that. Bit of acknowledging and then moving it away, your attention. And it doesn't matter what you do it. Now, it's not going to happen the first time. It's not going to happen the second time. It doesn't matter, but it will work. So how can we move our attention? What can we do? Name your habit voice. This is a fun one. So you might have someone that instead of hearing your own voice, you might want to give it another voice. Someone that you don't trust, someone that you don't particularly like, and particularly why would you listen to them if they were talking to you. Now, for me, way back when I was in school, I had a teacher. He wasn't really called Dr. Snuggles, but he kind of looked like that character, and he was a cartoon character from my past and my childhood, and he was called Dr. Snuggles. And I never really got on with him. He always kind of wittered on a bit. Not great as a teacher, and it's not great as a student to dismiss him. But however, when I have my happy voice coming, I can hear Dr. Snuggles talking to me. Ooh, you want to do it, don't you? Don't you? You want to do it? Go and bite those nails. And why would I listen to you? You didn't help me before. There's no way you're going to help me now. Now, I'm sure you have someone like that. And if you don't, you can change the voice. You can make it high and squeaky, or a bit low. But you can do all sorts of silly things with it. You can turn it into Mickey Mouse. But when that voice comes up, immediately change it and tell it to go away. Another option. You've got those nails looming at you, and you've dismissed the voice and that urge, and you want something. Squirrel. Now that squirrel could be anything, but it's just something to take your eyes away from what you're doing. And it's actually physical as well. So if you have that whole nail biting thing or anything else, it would be to get up and walk away. Go and do something else with your hands. It would be even better. But squirrels for me, it's kind of the dogs would do. They're busy, happy with themselves, and also squirrel, and off they go, and they've completely forgotten what they were doing. And that is the intention, is actually to forget, help you to create a new habit of actually forgetting what you were supposed to be doing with this old habit. Another example was a book I read recently. Was called Love Yourself Like Your Life Depends on It. And it's a short read, but I found it so powerful. It was one man's journey through relationship and how he took himself from the depths of his emotions to being even even emotions. He's not up and he's not down, and actually continuing through that and lifting his mood. And whenever he wants it, it took a little while for him. It doesn't have to take a little while for you, but I do highly recommend it. I enjoyed it, and I say it's a short read. You can find it on Amazon. So, quick recap. What have we done so far? We've let go of the past. We've ripped it up. We've shredded it. And if you're feeling really ambitious, you've gone outside and burnt it. And all of those things that you wrote down on that paper, you don't have to think about them ever again. Remember, they're old habits. You can do something else now. And what was that something else? Was feeling the future. Going through all those things that you do as a parent and how you would like to be as a parent, and what would you continue doing now that would make you feel happier more of the time. And we created our personal energy, so the rubbing of the hands, get them really going close together, and you can feel that power, and that's your power, it's no one else's. You can feel that personal energy inside you, and you can use that, make it feel good for yourself. And then we had our habit voice, and what did we do to it? We named it, we interrupted it, all with the purpose of getting rid of those old habits And then when you got rid of the old habits, you can create new ones, something you're going to put instead of it. So instead of biting your nails, you could be looking after your nails, or doing something more physical with your hands. There are always ways, and we are very inventive. Last thing I want to put into this short training, we come to the end of it now. And I think I mentioned it earlier, it was about journaling. And in particular, this one is actually a feelings journal. So you have gone through your whole day, and you're sitting in bed and you've got a bit of paper with you, or a little nice journal book, something that means something to you rather than a bit of scrap of paper, and write down what positive feelings did you get today? What positive things did you experience? What made you laugh? What made you feel, the warmth of love? Really have a little moment and think about all of those times that you had during the day and write them down. And also, what feelings didn't feel so great? When did you have that bit of anger bubble up? When did you feel that bit of lowness and sadness sort of come on you there? Write those down as well. And the last question is, with those feelings that didn't feel so great, what feelings would have been a better fit in that situation? You're in control of what you feel. Sometimes you have to consciously do it. And you will, after this session, you will go through thinking, oh, what am I thinking now? Is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's just a thing. Don't worry about it. Change it. Move your attention, move your focus. Going back to the communication models, what's your focus? Great question to ask yourself every day. And I would like you to actually say that out loud to yourself now. It takes you from feeling any emotions that you don't want to the possibility that there are other better emotions that you can have, and you can have them fast. You don't have to wait for the things to happen on the outside for you to feel those emotions on the inside. You can do that now. You don't have to wait. Short reflection on really everything that we've gone through. And you've got the cat there looking in the mirror and seeing a very proud lion there. And it's so important for us as humans and as parents, mums, dads. Look at things as you want them to be, not as they are. Don't wait for things to happen to you. Create those feelings inside you. Be those feelings first. And I promise you, life will look so much different, more positive for you. It's a life work, but do it. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Stuart Nunn. As I say, this is all part of the Superheroes sessions. If you enjoyed this and you've gone back on all the other sessions as well, and now taking up part in some new ones coming up, I believe Tuesday and Wednesday, probably a Q&A tomorrow, feel free to join in them. If you would like to donate some money, then I'm sure that will be able to be done as well. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening.